Hey guys, and welcome to my channel. And those of you who are new here, because there's been a few people commenting that they found my videos, thank you. If you've chosen to stick around, it's lovely to have you. If you've been here for any amount of time, you know that I tend to make some of my content is centered around mental health and things like that. So if you find that useful, then stick around for this video. Otherwise, if you're not in a space to receive that, then I understand. We're going to be playing with sunlight today. I'm sitting right in my window, my bedroom window, which is gorgeous and sunny in the late afternoon. But it does mean that hopefully I can dodge and move enough that it's not like blinding me and that sort of thing. So yes, I did not take off my pimple patches to film this because I'm a human and I'm allowed to have flaws, and that's also on theme. So yes, this video is about my experience with OCD, specifically Pure O OCD, which I'm going to talk about soon. That particular subset, I guess you call it, of OCD, and more specifically I'm going to be talking about the fact that I've had OCD probably for about 20 years and it's gone entirely untreated and undetected quite a bit. So I first of all want to say that I'm really, really thankful for YouTubers who have chosen to speak out about their experience with OCD, and particularly their experience with Pure O, because it changed my life. Quite honestly, that's not even an over-dramatization, that's literally the truth. I had no idea that what I was dealing with could even remotely be OCD. I'm going to post links to those. There's two specifically, two YouTubers, and one is an ASMR artist and one is just a general YouTuber, who have really, really helped me, and I couldn't be more grateful to them for choosing to speak out on their channel. So I'm going to do the same because I think it's really, really important. There is not enough representation of OCD, like honest representation. It's very over dramatized, it's very sterilized, if you pardon the pun, because literally a lot of it is demonstrating like contamination OCD, which is a very specific subtype involving like germs and contamination, as the name suggests. So basically all I'd ever seen relating to OCD in the media and things like that was counting, checking like locks and windows and things like that, and then the contamination OCD. That's all I'd ever heard of or known about or seen represented, and I think that narrow view of OCD is so harmful. That's resulted in me going 20 years untreated and not even realizing that this is something that I could or may have. So Pure O, I'm going to talk about that for a bit. It's a bit of a misnomer, but in a way it does make sense. OCD, as the name suggests, you have obsessions and compulsions. So the obsessions, it usually begins with like an intrusive thought. So that thought begins to spiral, and in relation to that thought, you're experiencing all these uncomfortable feelings, whether that's panic, anxiety, disgust, shame, guilt, whatever the case may be. There's an uncomfortable feeling, and it results in a compulsion to try and ease that feeling or those feelings. Try and deal with the intrusive thoughts or thought in some kind of way. And it doesn't just look like the movies, believe it or not. Pure O is named as such because the compulsions are mental. They are invisible. You can't see them. I'm not washing my hands 100 times a day. I'm not checking locks and doors compulsively or anything of that nature. You can't see my compulsions, and a lot of the time that results in feeling like they're not real, or this can't be OCD because I'm not doing a physical compulsion. But no, it's still OCD. So I'll give you an example. So I might think of something in the past that's happened and it'll become an intrusive thought. So I won't be able to stop focusing and ruminating on that particular thought. It might relate to anything that's happened in the past. It could even be something really small and minor that my brain's just chosen to focus on. And as a result of that, I then will do something such as rumination. So I will ruminate on that thought, trying to figure it out, trying to think it out of existence almost. I might try and fix it. So a lot of the time it'll focus on trying to fix that thing that happened. So as if thinking about it or working it out somehow is repairing or fixing that situation that happened in an effort to ease the thought and ease the anxiety around it. That's just one example. There's many examples of the kinds of compulsions that happen in Pure O OCD. I'll list some more of them below because if you're someone that deals with this, you might be able to relate to some of those. And again, that's like 20 years ago now that I can recall those things first occurring. And over the years, I've had treatment for generalised anxiety disorder, and that's kind of what it was always lumped under. I've also had issues in the past with trichotillomania, which is a body-focused repetitive behaviour where you obsessively, compulsively pull out your hair. For me, it was my eyebrows. There was a time in my life where I literally had no eyebrows, which relates to my previous microblading video, because the first original instance of getting microblading was because my trichotillomania was so bad that I did that in order to have eyebrows. So that is like an OCD related behavior. And then that morphed into dermatillomania, which is the exact same thing, but it's focused on your skin. So it's compulsive skin picking disorder. And that I still have to this day, hence this little guy. But nowhere near to the extent that I used to have it. I'm actually going to show you a print here in front of me because I got this years ago. Because when I saw it, it's super reflective, sorry. When I saw it, come on, focus. It just encapsulated that feeling to me of what it's like to struggle with dermatillomania, and I still have it to this day. Now I will only have like a picking episode if I'm really stressed, or if I feel like I still have the trigger of the sensation of a irregularity on my skin. So if I feel like an irregularity or a bump on my skin, regardless of how small or invisible it really is, I have a compulsion to pick it to relieve that anxiety. So again, that's another OCD related behaviour, but I never had treatment for either of those things, and I only ever had any kind of treatment for the generalised anxiety disorder and amongst other anxiety disorders over the years, but it was never suggested to me that I could have OCD. Anytime there was a checklist or any kind of form or kind of, assessment, all of the OCD related questions were about things like physical checking or contamination, even within the mental health sector. So it was no wonder that it went completely unnoticed and untreated. I would have had to come to those sessions with the knowledge of Pure O and suggest that I might have it. So again, that's another reason why I'm grateful, and I also want to contribute to the conversation around this. I've also found a couple of other YouTube related resources on the topic of OCD recovery, and I'll link them below as well. But yeah, so it's only been, I want to say within the last year, that I've heard of Pure O, realised it was something that I potentially could have, and began to seek help for that. I began to seek a referral for this, I want to say, around October last year, 2024. It's now February 2025, and only today, hence why I'm making this video, did I receive a phone call from a psychologist. I was very clear with her on the phone, and I said that I think I have OCD, and I explained some of the experiences and the symptoms that I have, and I explained how I didn't previously know that you could have only mental convulsions. And from the time that we spoke together on the phone, she said that it is very likely that I have this type of OCD. She can't diagnose over the phone, obviously. I would need to go in for an assessment. In the meantime, I'm just busy educating myself as much as possible and trying to become as aware as possible of my triggers. I now have a journal, and I will jot down triggers that I'm noticing, and I'll have a trigger and then the thought, the intrusive thought, and then the compulsion that I'm doing in response to that. So I want to thank you for watching, and if you can relate to this topic, first of all, I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry. It's really challenging, but we're in it together. You're very much not alone, and compulsions can be mental, so it's not just you. It's not just how you are. It is a disorder. It's a coping mechanism that's very much ingrained into your psyche, and recovery can happen. And I know that's true because I've dealt with a lot of really challenging mental health struggles in my life, and I have recovered from a lot of things. So I am hopeful. I am just raring to get started, and in a way I have started because now I know. Now I know what I'm struggling with, and I can seek the appropriate treatment and also educate myself in this area, become more aware. So feel free to journey along with me. Who knows how things exactly will pan out and when, but let's do this. Thank you so much for watching. If you've not subscribed already, I would love if you could do so. Thank you so much for being here. Take care of yourself and those around you, and I'll talk to you again soon.